Alright guys, so for today, what we're going to be looking at the percent of change. Anthony, pay attention. I remember last week, I used to give you guys a percent, like a price, and a percent and either change up or change down. Right? If it was a markup for taxes, the price will go up. But if it was a discount, the prices went down. So last week, I gave you guys a percent and told you guys to change it up or down. Now today, I'm just gonna give you guys how much it started from. The price was 65, and it changed to 55. So now I'm expecting you guys to find the percent of change. So I know from 65 to 55, it changed $10, right? The difference is 10 to begin with. And so I'm gonna see how much it changed by, and I'm gonna divide this by the first number always, by how much it used to cost. So 10 divided by 65. So always find out what's the difference, how much did it change, and then divide it by the old price. So my calculator, I'm going to go 10 divided by 65. Let me just write down my first three decimal places. It's 0.153. So like I said, I only wrote my first three numbers. I have to move my decimal two places to the right. So we'll read 15.3 because my 3 is not big enough. Remember what I call big enough is 5 or more. Because it's not big enough, I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to call this 15%. If my 3, so the number after the decimal was 5 or more, then I would have called it 16%. Like I said, 3 is low and it's not big enough, so 15%, in this case, I'm going to call this decrease. Decrease, what it means is the price went down. Right, from 65 to 55, we can tell the price went down. So 15% decrease. If you guys want to write 15% discount, because that's the word that we used last week for the price going down, go for it. Let me take a look at question number 2. I know from 80 to 53, right? I'm going to subtract my two numbers. From 80 to 53, I know the difference is 27. Once again, I'm going to subtract my numbers. So that's how I got the 27. And I'm going to divide this by the first number, like how much it used to cost. So 27 divided by 80. I type that in. Once again, let me just write down my first three numbers. Wait for me right now. Let me write my first three numbers. I get 0.337. So I know I have to move this two places to the right. So it looks like 33.7. The 7 is big enough. So I'm going to call this 34% decrease. Right, in this case, the 7 was big enough. And once again, what I call big enough is 5 or more. So that's how we find the percent of change. Like the percent of how much did it change. Let me do just one more question. From 65 to 14, right, I'm going to subtract them. So I know it changes $51. I subtracted my two values. And I'm going to divide it by the first number, which in this case is 65. 51 divided by 65. The first three decimal numbers are 0.784. I know I have to move this two places to the right, but my 4 is not big enough, so I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to call this 78%. Since the price went down, I'm going to call this decrease. If it had gone up, I would have called it increase. And if my 4 was big enough, I would have called it 79%. But don't forget to round. So, any questions? 4? All right, let's take a look at number 4. From 35 to 62, right, I'm going to subtract my numbers. And I get, what's that, 27? I'm going to subtract my two numbers. And I'm going to divide it by, this case, 35. So I'm always going to divide it by the first number. So 27 divided by 35. Looking at my first three decimal numbers is 0.771. I move it two places to the right. My 1 is not big enough, so I'm just going to ignore it. And I'm going to call this 77% increase. I'm using the word increase this time because the price went up. So as a matter of fact, this is a way you guys can calculate the taxes that you're paying whenever you go to the store. Because you have a price on the shelf, it says a price, but at the cashier they charge you something else with taxes included. So find out how much did it change, divide it by the original price, and that gives you the percent of change. Like how much percent did it change? And obviously that gives you your taxes. All right. Any questions? Thank you. No? 5? All right. Take a look at number 5. From 94 to 78, all right, subtract your two numbers. 94 to 78 gives us 16. Now I'm going to divide this by the first price, which is 94. So I'm going 16 divided by 94. Only looking at the first three decimal numbers is 0.170. That 0 is not big enough, right? Because I'm going to move this 2 places to the right. The 0 is not big enough, so I'm going to call this 17% decrease. And they can decrease because the price went down. Any other questions? Yeah. 14. From 89 to 36.8, let me subtract those. 89 minus 36.8, and I get 52.2. So it changed by 52.2, which I'm going to divide by 89. This is the original price. Divide that by 89. Let me write down only the first three decimal numbers, which is 586. So I have to move this 2 places to the right. The 6 is big enough. I'm going to call this 59%. This one is also a decrease because the price went down. All right. Any other questions? Remember, just find out how much did it change, divided by the first number. Let me take roll really quick.